I call Mike Sabin.
Well, I think the member just dashed his opportunity to raise a party vote with that particular speech, because if people at home wake up now that he's finished, what they'll actually find is roads are actually quite important to the economy in this country. And actually, the point that Andrew Williams made was a very, very good one, is that all roads are important, and no one on this side of the House would disagree that all roads are important, sir. But the Greens would have their fanciful wish list and just tax people significantly greater amounts to pay for more access to walking to school for school children and more cycleways and so forth. Sir, I don't believe it's actually an either-or. It's an and. And as Jerry Brownlee, the Minister of Transport, said today, this government has spent more on the sort of things that the Greens talk about but will hopefully never get a chance to do than anyone has done, sir. But if we think about the road network as we think of the human body, and we think about the difference between veins and arteries, that's simply what the road network comes down to, sir, is there are some areas of the network or the body where it's far more important that we have flow and that there are no encumbrances to that flow, and that is what the Roads of National Significance program is all about. Now, admittedly, that's a policy decision, sir, on behalf of the government, and while the Greens can stand there and talk about low cost-benefit ratios, I can assure the Green members 100% that there is a far greater cost-benefit return to this nation having efficient freight movement, in particular around the more congested areas of this country, than there is in having more cycleways and opportunities for children to walk to school. I don't know, I'm an old-fashioned sort of a guy, sort of think if children want to walk to school, actually they probably can, they have been for a long time, and it's not the case that this government just ignores that, sir, but it's a case of prioritising. It's almost like the Greens have forgotten about the fact they've gone away from this idea of printing money, that they've got some magic wish list of opportunities in the transport sector that they would pay for, but somehow forget about the fact you've got to have an economy that's performing to actually do that.
How are they going to move the money?
Well, exactly. How will they move the money, ironically? How are they going to move the logs? How are they going to move the milk powder? How are they going to move all the other produce that this primary producing country ultimately produces? What are they going to do? They're going to cycleway. They're going to have a team of people with unicycles wandering down cycleways, sir, to get it to market. The buses that they talk about all the time, oh, that's right, they use roads as well. I haven't seen them hovering above the earth any time recently. Sir, this bill, it is a some minor technical amendments, but in all seriousness, what we're actually dealing with here, sir, is a very complex system in the road user charges, and the anomalies that sprung up have been dealt with in this legislation. And while it only affects a small amount of people, a lot of those people are in my electorate. A lot of them are farmers, and a lot of them people who work in the rural economy, and that's right, they're the lifeblood of this economy. So while they can trivialise the fact that, oh, why are we dealing with this bill now, bottom line is, if we weren't, they'd be criticising for us for not dealing with it. But actually, this government just gets on and does what the community, what the voters expect of us. Another good example of it, and another good example from the Greens of why they should never occupy the government benches.
I call Richard Prosser.
Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to rise on behalf of New Zealand First to take a call.